If you like this video, click like. If you want to continue to follow our adventure, hit subscribe. Your support would be greatly appreciated.
Hello, Logs on the Road subscribers and followers. Well, you know what today is? It's Friday, which means it's Easy 5 Friday. And today's topic is safety plans. 5 safety measures that we put in place to stay safe. So I'm going to go ahead and get started in this. Hiking. You know, even the experts tend to get lost when they're hiking. Now, Carolyn and I, we don't go on these, huge backpacking, explore the Appalachia Trail or anything. We're not those people. We go for maybe 4-mile walks. And if it gets too hot, we might turn around and come back because, oh. But we did, when we were down in Daniel Boone National Park, we wanted to go see the Yahoo Falls. And we did, we went and saw that. But then there was this thing called the Natural Arch or something. And it was just a whole cave, rock formation. So we had to walk another, I guess, 2 miles to get to that. And it was kind of all in the woods and trails. And, there's no maps in these national forests. There's just never a map anywhere. So you just kind of follow the trail and hope for the best. Well, at the beginning of the trail, there was a map. And in my mind, the map said it was going to loop back around to where we started. Well, we walked, when we got past the arch, and we walked, and we walked, and we walked, and we didn't have cell phone signal, and we walked, and we walked. And I kept thinking, maybe we should just turn around and go back. But I kept thinking, man, we've got to be getting close. We've got to be getting close. Fortunately, my cell phone dinged at me, suggesting that I got an email, which meant, oh, I have a cell signal. So I looked at my phone, and sure enough, I had cell signal. So I opened up Google Maps, and, the GPS pointed me in the middle of nowhere. And I could see where I came from, and I could see where I was going was nowhere. I don't know why there was a trail there, because it really didn't look like it ended up anywhere. So we have since then decided that if we have any questions about hiking, that we're just going to turn around. We're not going to continue pushing ourselves into the unknown. If we feel like, and that's all it has to take, is just a little feeling. If we feel like this isn't right, we turn around. The other thing we do is before we actually go on a hike like that, we now call my mother and just let her know what trail we're on in case we ever get lost. She knows that if I'm not online every night by 4:30, because that's when I post my videos, that there's a problem. So she can either give us a call, if she can't get a hold of us, and maybe she can call the authorities. So she always knows, to just keep an ear to the ground, and so that way there's just an extra, safety precaution. All right. Number 2, don't trust the water. I've gotten where I don't trust any of the water in the national forest, one that says drinking water, anywhere. Natural springs, none of it. I don't trust any of it. Even if we go to the gas station and get it out of the spigot, I'm not going to trust it. There's just no reason to. Look, we're out here miles from civilization. Here we do have a fairly good cell signal, but in a couple locations we didn't have a cell signal. Carolyn doesn't drive, and if I get sick or hurt, it really is going to put her in a bind. Now, I know that she will figure it out. I'm positive she would ever figure it out if something happened, that she could get help. But the other thing is, why take unnecessary risks? So when you're drinking water, why take unnecessary risks? There's no reason to. So we filter all our drinking water. We filter no matter what. Every ounce of water we drink is filtered. Now, you have different confidence levels. When we were at Wolf Gap, there was this natural spring, and we never saw anybody drinking from it. It was a pipe in the mountain. Nobody drank from it. So I didn't have a high confidence level that that was safe drinking water. So we boiled it and filtered it. But now we got here, there's another natural spring. And all day long, there are lines of people getting into it. And all of them saying, it's safe to drink, it's safe to drink, it's safe to drink. So we don't boil it, but we do filter it. We continue to filter it with our Berkey water system, which I am very, very comfortable with filtering out. And I know there are going to be people saying, oh, you never trust a filter. For those that haven't heard of it, you might want to look it up. I mean, they are claimed to fame as being the best water filter. So I'm very comfortable with the water filter, taking out, impurities. I've seen videos of people taking water out of an old, dirty, yucky looking pond and pouring through that Berkey and feeding it to their kids. So, but that's beside the point. I'm not trying to sell the Berkey. That's not what I'm doing. I'm trying to sell the fact, always make sure that you are 100% confident that your water is safe. And the only way to do that is filter and or boil. So, anyway, number 3, trust your gut. And I've made a video on that, trust your gut. And I have since then relied completely on that video, or that trust your gut. We went to Ray Springs, Tennessee. And I've mentioned this a couple times. It's a beautiful campsite, absolutely beautiful campsite. We got there, and we saw homeless people there. We were sure it was homeless people. People made residence, campers were falling apart, cars were parked out in the middle of the camp yard, hoods up, tires flat on the campers. There was one camper that had a stove sitting outside. Now we assumed they were cooking outside because it might have gotten hot inside. Later we learned that this area was probably a meth making area. So anyway, we got there at 4 o'clock, and we just didn't trust our gut. We just didn't trust it. We were so in love with the place, we didn't trust what we were seeing. So the next day, Parks and Rec Services came out and said, we're closing this down tomorrow. So you'll have to be out by 4 o'clock tomorrow. Which really did, I guess, confirm what our gut was telling us. And that's when we realized, you know what? That was stupid, stupid, stupid. We got there, we should have just left. But we didn't. It was just dumb. Since then, people have told me, oh, it's reopened. We were just there in July. And that's great, because in August, I got more messages saying, it closed down again. So, I'm not sure of the status of this campground, but apparently they're still having some problems there. So if you don't feel like it's safe, then just don't do it. There's no reason to come out here and risk it. There's no reason. You're coming out here to increase your happiness, not reduce your safety. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Number 4, watch the weather. Oh man, we're always watching the weather. Always watching the weather. Always watching the weather. It was funny, the other day I got a message on my weather app that says, slight risk of severe weather. I'm thinking, okay, slight risk. I'm looking at the radar, and it looks like showers all day, but nothing serious. And we went shopping before it started raining, and as we were coming back, I looked across the horizon, and boy, it looked bad. I mean, looked really bad. So I once again looked at the app. Sure enough, severe thunderstorm warning for the county we were in. 60-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, everything's going to get tore apart. So the whole thing. So us being prepared, we already knew that there was a slight risk. We already had our ropes ready, staged, so we could tie the camper up. We were prepared to lower the camper just in case, and stay in the truck and get out of here. Anytime you're talking about weather, when you park your camper, look above, look up. is there any dead limbs above you, especially in a pop-up? But I think this is all campers. I've heard other people say, oh yeah, I got a hole in my roof and that was a, you know, a $100,000 RV. Look up. Make sure all those limbs look solid. If not, find a different campsite. It does not take a lot of wind for a limb to fall out. I was sitting over there the other day doing a video, and light breeze, I mean, just like today, just a little light breeze, and I bet 20 feet away, huge limb fell down. So it doesn't take a lot. So look up. These national forests are actually pretty good. These guys come out, check each campsite, and anywhere they're going to park a camper, tent, and established campsites, they do a really good job trimming them up. You can see that they've cut limbs and different things. So, number 5, don't go in the woods. No, that's not true. Avoid going in the woods alone. Look, I love being out in the woods. When I'm in Missouri, you look across the wooded area and you can't see more than 100 yards ahead of you. I mean, it is thick, lush greens. But here in West Virginia, man, I can see forever. I mean, see everything. There's trees, but it's not overgrown growth. It's beautiful here. Absolutely beautiful. So I really want to get out there and explore it. Problem is if I fall or trip or get hurt, there's nobody out there to help me. Nobody. I would have to crawl back if I could. So there is absolutely no reason to go out there alone for me, because I have Carolyn. If you do have to go out there alone, you know, people who tent camp out in the woods, take extra precaution. Try to go someplace where there's a cell signal. That way, if you do get hurt, you can call someone to come out and get you. But for us, we try not to get out in the woods. We go out in the woods a lot to look for wood, you know, firewood, but we stay together. Always in communication range, always. Usually in visual sight. If I do go out in the woods alone, I always am looking behind me to make sure I can see that camper. If I can't see the camper, then I turn around. I just am not going to get out there and get hurt and nobody be able to find me. You know, I'd hate to have to call the National Forest to, you know, have them come out and look, or the National Forest Services to come out looking for me. I don't know how much they would cost to do that. So, anyway, that's my 5 safety plans to keep us safe while we're out here living in a pop-up camper. I hope it helps you. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.